How's it going? This is Miguel with Global Wide Realty. Today in the video that I'm making, I wanted to talk about something on a lot of people in my age group's mind, and that's whether or not they should wait to buy a home. On my video feed, if it's anything like your video feed, if you're in mid 30s to getting close to that 40 or just over that 40 number, there's a lot of people in our age group that are a little bit hesitant to buy right now. And a lot of the top financial personalities, they're talking about renting being the way to go right now and investing the difference that you're saving on a current mortgage. And that's a good theory, but I like to get into the actual reality of it. So let's talk about it. Right now, with the interest rates being around 6%, you could potentially save a couple $100s a month and invest that. And if you are, one, disciplined, two, have the time to really invest and get into the deep dives into the investing world, it could be a potentially good strategy. But what's the reality? The reality is, a lot of people don't take the necessary time to do the proper research. They don't do their due diligence. A lot of people invest on hype things, and those hype style investments don't pan out in the long term. The reality is, historically, when it comes to buying a home, that's the financial tool that most families have the most success in building long-term wealth and creating long-term stability. So let's talk about it. Right now, buyers in my age group especially, because I don't know if you're aware, but the average buyer is 45 to 60. Typically, that average buyer has already bought one or two, maybe even a few homes, and they're selling a home that they made a lot of money on. They're potentially taking a little bit of a loss, and then they're buying another home cash and getting a good deal when they buy a home. So it ends up being a wash for them. They lose a little bit on the selling side, but then they make up for it on the buying side. So what does that alert to you as a buyer? It is a good time to buy, but a lot of people don't have cash, so they're a little bit hesitant and they're waiting for a couple different things. It could be that they're waiting for rates to drop. It could be that they're waiting for prices to drop. Right now, the competition is great. There's a lot of inventory, so there is opportunities for you to get a good deal. And where I see the best deals are right now are the builders. A lot of builders are offering some great incentives. If you're worried about a high rate, a lot of builders are offering to buy down your rate, so you're sub 4 or just above 4, so anywhere from like a 3.99 to a 4.5%. A lot of builders are willing to cover closing costs. Another thing holding people back is the deposit. It could be anywhere from 10 to 20%, unless you're using FHA, and then it's 3.5%. But in my area, one of the things that a lot of people aren't aware of is that we do have USDA loans, and that is 100% financing. So that means you're bringing zero down to the closing table. So let's walk through that. You're bringing zero down to the closing table. You're having a low attractive rate. If it's USDA, it's not going to be as attractive as a 3.9 or 4.5, but it's still sub 6%. So, it is typically better to bring something for down payment. FHA is the way to go if you have the funds, if you're getting some sort of return for your taxes, for example. It's a great strategy to use that to put the down payment for the FHA. And then have a builder cover your closing costs. So what are the actual costs that you're bringing? What is the actual cash that you're bringing to the closing table? Well, I always recommend an inspection. That's anywhere from $350 to $600, $700. I would estimate around $450, $500. You're going to need anywhere from $450 to $600 for the survey, and you're going to need to pay for an appraisal. So all in, you're looking at sub $2,000. And what's the reality of what it costs to rent? A lot of landlords are requesting first month, last month, and a security deposit, and a deposit on top of that if you have pets. So you could be looking at anywhere from $3,500 to $6,000 that you need in order to rent. So if the case is right for you, and if you want to explore that option, there's a lot of times where you're probably paying less to buy than you are to rent. So if you're curious about starting the process, if you have some questions that have been unanswered, feel free to reach out to me at 754-207-2708. If you want to just get a little bit of a head start and start your home search process, feel free to go to my website at homesforsaleinflorida.com. That's mrod.homesforsaleinflorida.com. Well, this has been Miguel with Global Wide Realty. I'm your Central Florida realtor. Check it out.
It's a walk in the park. Y'all too smart, can't talk from the heart. I got sauce and it's all for the charts. No aux in the car.